Hello, and welcome to Braunhaven. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. So, looks like the party is a bit split. Alora and Malachi are still up in their private room on the third floor of Madame Bousaird's brothel, doing, magic stuff, things. Alora is reading a book, and Malachi is working on creating a spell scroll. And so they are engaged for the week in downtime. Meanwhile, Boorman is in. So you are invisible, and is that a pass undead on you?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah, undead should not be able to see me. Um, I I think on the undead, I'll get it to you before it really matters. But um, they can't see me unless I attack them. But there's a certain level, I think. Yeah, undead creatures with 6 or more hit dice will have to save versus spells to detect me.
right. So he is invisible and pass undead, and he's wearing his elven boots, so he's silent, and he is kind of tailing Madame Bousaird, the tiefling, around as she. Well, we'll find out what she's doing. It assumed that it's probably the normal morning duties of anybody who owns, say, a brothel or a tavern. And meanwhile, uh, over at the in the University District, St. Burton's Theological Academy, Mavis Dentry Jackson and the newest the newest party member, the half-work prostitute Peppermint, are at St. Burton's Theological Academy, and they have just met a. They found a archon, which is like the most lawful of the lawful angels, and he is chained with barbed chains to a pedestal in the middle of the Hall of the 12 Elder Gods. And Mavis has released him, and I believe she did some healing on him. And so uh, they'll be learning his tale. They also, he told them that basically he fought and lost. Well, he fought against a screaming demon that he trapped in the Hall of the Old Gods. And um, after that, he was kind of ambushed and tricked, and that's how he ended up being chained. Before we get started, we would like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. Today, we would like to thank AleHorn. AleHorn makes wonderful drinking steins out. They're Viking-style drinking horns, and they're all made out of natural oxhorn, and they are fantastic. My wife got me one, and it actually was a set. It came with a Viking style drinking horn and a little shot glass, and all made of oxhorn. So when you order one, you don't necessarily know what the coloration is going to be because they're natural oxhorn. They're all going to be different, but I can tell you they are fantastic. The drinking horn is great for anything from beers and ales to mead. I suppose you could even drink wine in it if you want to drink that much wine in one sitting. But I mean, who doesn't, right? And the shot glass, I think the shot glass is maybe just a little bit shy of an actual 1 ounce shot, but not by much. I mean, it's pretty close. And I've had them now for I want to say 2 years, maybe going on 3 years. And I don't put them in the dishwasher, of course. That would probably be a bad idea. But I do hand wash them. Use a gentle soap and don't scrub. Just gently wash them, and they have held up very, very well. And I believe AleHorn's website does have some tips on care and washing. But they are a fantastic site, very reasonable prices. So definitely go check out alehorn.com and get yourself a Viking drinking horn. If you are a DM and you set that down, if you're having a beer while you're running a game with a room full of people, it definitely gets everybody's attention. We also have a merch store via Zazzle. Speaking of drinking apparatuses, we've got t-shirts and buttons and hoodies. The hoodies are black hoodies with a black and white portrait of each of the characters in today's game, with the exception of Peppermint. I don't know, maybe that one will be coming, because who doesn't want a half-orc prostitute on their hoodie? We've got the fleece blanket, and there is the Greenwater Guildhall beer stein. Comes in two different color variations. One with that we really like is the one with the white with gold trim, and then there is also a blue and gray one that I have actually, and a new addition. Because I'm apparently clumsy, I broke my favorite whiskey rocks glass washing it. Slipped right out of my hand, shattered in the sink, and I wept. But that led me down the rabbit hole of having to search for a new Whiskey Rocks glass because they don't make the one that I just broke. I mean, of course, right? And so I decided to grab one and put our Greenwater logo. And so there is a Greenwater Whiskey Rocks glass available on the Zazzle site. Very, very, very well priced. It is. If you've ever looked, whiskey rocks glasses can be very expensive. And I don't know why. There's really no rhyme or reason for it. I mean, if it was fancy crystal, I guess I can understand the expense, but most of these are not fancy crystal, and the variation in price is anywhere from $5.99 all the way up to $40 for one glass, and you're like, it's the same glass. I don't understand. So these are very adequately priced, and they do have the etching or the printing of the Greenwater logo on them. So go get yourself a Whiskey Rocks glass, and we appreciate everything you do. The newest adventure that I'm working on is actually close to finished. I got just a little. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I've got a couple of more things to do, and then it'll be ready to go out. It right now is, I want to say, 38 pages. I think it'll probably be sub 100 pages, which will mean that I'm probably going to release it just as a PDF. There won't be a physical copy of it. That, of course, also for you, the purchaser, will keep the price down. I will look at the possibility of doing a print run of it, but more than likely it'll be PDF. And also, so I don't have a time frame on when that will be done, but soon. In addition to that, once it is done, if you haven't picked up Tasdantalus's Tantalizing Tower, a treatise on magic and spells, and the Mystical Sylvanas Forest, and the new adventure that's coming out, the Southbridge Murders. If you haven't purchased any of those yet, I will be doing a bundle with those items. I think I'm going to call it the Forest and Coastal Adventure Pack, and so you'll get all of those, and it'll be a couple dollars cheaper than if you bought them individually. So that's going to be coming as well. And then, of course, there will be a Labor Day sale, and I'm thinking that sale is probably going to start Monday, since next week is Labor Day. And so it will start Monday and run through Labor Day weekend, and there will be discounts. I'm probably looking at about a 30% discount on Braunhaven PDFs. So that's coming as well. So keep your eyes open. And if you've already purchased, there will be an email that goes out through Drive-Thru RPG letting you know that sale is on. So back to our game. So Boorman is following Madame Bousaird around, and as an owner of a bar, or in this case a brothel, would do, Um, you you follow her around. She's pretty much doing standard business stuff, and you follow her over, and she is talking to who are these guys? These guys are
Are you talking about she's talking to the minstrel guys or
yes, the Gilliam.
okay.
She's up there talking to Gilliam Turnbottle and his band, and essentially she's talking to them about re-upping their essentially their contract, and so um, originally from what you were picking up in in the conversation is that Gilliam Turnbottle and his troupe of bards, he is a half elf. The backup band our members are all human bards, and at one time, they, if you can call it this, they would tour, and apparently it sounds like they've toured fairly far and wide. So they have toured as far away as Arabasia, and they've gone through the borderlands. They did one performance in Zlatoheim, and evidently one of the backup band members says they never want to do that again. And dwarves just don't care for their style of music, I guess. But they they have opted to give up the touring lifestyle to live a comfortable contract with excellent wages here in Madame Bousaird. And so she's just kind of checking in with them and trying to re-up their contract and wanting to know if they are happy. And apparently they are. She's taking very good care of them. Throughout the bar, of note, this is fairly early in the morning, so the the rush doesn't the rush for prostitutes doesn't really happen until lunch hour, and there is one other guest that's down here getting some breakfast, that is was staying in one of the hourly rate rooms on the second floor. But aside from that, there are three of these bouncers, or what we're calling elite bandits, that are kind of milling about. They don't have a whole lot to do, and so one of them is standing by the coat check room or weapons check room. Another one's standing by this amber statue here, and then of course there's one up here by this north bar. Not a whole lot going on. I mean, it is early in the morning. She hasn't even really. You see a you see a couple of the harlots standing about. Some of them are trying to help. They're wiping down tables and whatnot, but they don't have a whole lot to do, and she hasn't really addressed them yet.
Okay.
Is there anything in particular that you want to do?
You know, I don't necessarily know the information about the blast the plaques that I found. So if I tried stealing them, it would kind of be metagame bad form. But so I
Yeah.
guess I'm. Well, I know they were there and I know they were special, but I don't. The player in me, we've all discovered that that is their soul contract.
Right.
But my character Boorman doesn't know that, so I'm gonna err on the side of caution. I think I'm just gonna follow her around, kind of shadow her sneakily as best I can,
Okay.
and try to get, she's been giving me good information, so I'm just gonna continue on that while my friends are out adventuring.
Okay. So, excuse me. So while you are shadowing her, uh, the front doors to the brothel opens up, and you see a ragged-looking, portly human kind of step in, and he's wearing what appears to be like a long oilskin kind of duster, and he's got this beat up, just terribly beat up felt hat, wide brimmed, And like there's notches missing out of the brim. I mean, this hat has seen some shit and some things. And behind him, he has 3 women and 2 men. They are wearing a choker kind of manacle around their necks, and they are chained together. And the lead one, all of their hands are also manacled. And the lead one, he has a rope tied to their manacles, and he's kind of leading them in a train, and he leads them in, calling or telling the bouncer here by the door. He says, "Yeah, I've got some more stock for Madame Bousaird," and she kind of tells Gilliam Turnbottle that she's going to. She says, "Well, I'm glad that you're happy, and I have some business to attend to." And she turns and heads towards that direction. Boorman, roll a dexterity ability check.
You know, I made it. Got an 18 dex. So
Nice. So you, when she turns, you narrowly kind of suck in your gut as her tail kind of flips around and narrowly misses hitting you. And she kind of comes on over here, and you, of course, follow her. I mean, you are following her, right?
yeah, I'm really trying to get access. My guess, I gotta call it now. So if I'm right, I'm right. So I think behind the secret passage is where the rituals of where they do this soul shit. So, yeah. Well, no, I'll find out when we go in there because we're gonna yank her when this is all said and done. Her days are numbered.
So she comes up and she calls this guy's name is Ephraim, and she says, "So Ephraim, what have you brought me today?" And he says, "Well, I came into possession of some goods that I believe your brothel might be able to handle." And one of the girls kind of whimpers a little bit, and he pulls on the chains. "You shut up!" And Madame Bousaird says, "No, you don't have to be so rough with them. That's what the customers are for." And she kind of looks them over, and she says, "And so tell me, Ephraim, where did you come across these?" And he says that the 2 males, the 2 men, they don't look like they're that badly off, and they are. I mean, they're not. Of course, they're all wearing, burlap sacks for the most part that have been cut into clothing, but physically they look like they're well nourished. They're not overly beaten or anything like that. The 2 men, he tells her that they were given to him as a gift by Lady Elkmere of the High District. And he says, evidently she wasn't happy with something they did. I don't know the particulars of it, but I do know that they were a part of her household staff, and she had enough of them, and she ended up giving them to me in lieu of payment for other services that shall remain undisclosed. And Madame Bousaird says, yes, I wouldn't want to interfere with Lady Elkmere's business dealing. And she kind of goes over and looks these 2 over. She goes, "Yeah, I'll take them." She says, "I'll pay you 5 gold pieces each for them." And he says, "5? Look at them. They're very well taken care of. They're strong lads. I mean, you could probably even train them to be bouncers around here." She says, She says, "They're a little bit small for bouncers." She says, "All right, I'll give you 8 gold apiece." And he says, "All right, you run a rough bargain, but I'll take 8 apiece for them." And then she says, "What's the story with the ladies?" And he says, "Oh, I purchased them from a bunch out over on the Smuggler's Cove Island." He says, I paid, well, I paid a considerable amount for them. And she kind of looks them over. The girls, they definitely need to run a comb through the hair. They're looking a little feral. They're dirty. There's a couple of bruises here and there. Um, and he says, I couldn't for the ladies, I couldn't accept any less than 10 gold apiece. And Madame Bousaird says, oh please. She says, I know how those pirates out in Smuggler's Cove operate. These girls weren't actually working for the pirates in their own brothel over there. Then that means that they got them off of some ship and probably treated them roughly and had their way, and then sold them to you for 3 gold apiece. Considerable amount, my ass. She says, I will give you 6 gold each for them. And he kind of looks down at the floor, and she says, Ephraim, don't forget all the favors that I've done for you. And he says, oh, okay. 6 gold each. And so she kind of snaps her fingers, and one of the other working girls in the bar comes over with her with a small sack, and you can hear the coins and whatnot jingling in it. And she pulls out a gem, and she says, or she pulls out like 3 gems, and she says, I'm going to pay you a little bit extra, and that is so that next time you'll bring me better stock. And she puts these 3 gems. You estimate that those gems are probably worth about 10 gold each.
Okay.
And he snatches it up and says, and kind of hands her the rope, and then gives her a key. And he says, 1 key will fit all the manacles. And he says, pleasure doing business with you. And he slips out.
Okay, now how seasoned does this guy look?
Well, fairly. I mean, it looks like he looks like he hasn't shaved or bathed in a while, other than salt water. So, and it looks like he spends a lot of time on the water. His skin is dark, not dark, but he's got a pretty heavy tan. That you would see from somebody who spends a lot of time on the water. The sun reflecting off the water causes your skin to just burn and dry out. Basically, his skin has the look of boiled leather.
If I was to estimate, just on visual how he carries himself and his muscle tone and things like that, would I consider him tough?
Yeah, he probably. I mean, like I said, he's a bit overweight, but yeah, he probably is no slouch.
If Boorman was a fighter thief, if Boorman was a fighter thief, he would probably go try to kill this guy. But Boorman is a thief fighter, and he will not.
He was thieving first, fighter last.
Yeah. Well, I've got more levels than thief. That's
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue to I really want to see if I can get back in her office or this secret room, but she has to open the doors for me. So she continue to do my.
She takes the key and she unlocks all of these people, and as she's unlocking them, she says, Ephraim is such a gruff bastard. I mean, I can't believe that he had you all manacled together. She says, you'll have more of an amount of freedom working for me. Not complete freedom, but I would trust that you won't leave, and I have reasons for that. And so she leads them all back into her office. I will allow you to place yourself in the office where you would like to be.
Way up in this corner.
Okay. So, yeah, they're all kind of standing here in front of her desk. And she says, she opens the drawer and she pulls out one of these stacks of brass plaques. And you can see that on the stack that she pulls out, on the first plaque on the top, is something written in the chaotic Malum and Ferris tongue. And she kind of opens it, and they kind of spread out. And so these are kind of like on a chain link. And the other 5 of these plaques are blank. And she then reaches into the desk and she pulls out what looks like a solid iron, like almost like a writing pen, but you don't see any ink. And she looks at the first one and asks them their name, and they give her a name. And she writes in Malum and Ferris using this stylus on the brass plaque, and you can see as she's writing, kind of smoke rises up where it's actually melting and edging the name in Malum and Ferris into the plaque. And she does that with each of them. And one of the men says, "Here's something. Make a wisdom ability check."
No.
No.
No, I did not.
So one of the men says, I assume that these plaques are like a record that we work for you, or is it some kind of contract? And she says, "Oh, it's just for my own records. It's nothing for you to be concerned about." And when she's done writing each of their names on one of these plaques, now all of these plaques, these particular plaques are full. She folds them back up and sticks them in her desk, shuts the drawer, and locks it. And she says, "Now, follow me. We're going to go upstairs, and we're going to get you properly dressed for your new jobs. And my God, you're going to all need baths. These girls, they smell like." She goes, "Well, we had some guests come in last night, and you almost smell like they do, and they were tromping around in the sewer. I don't know what those filthy pirates were doing to you." And so she leads them out of the office and heads for the stairs.
I'm gonna stay in the office.
Okay. And she shuts, and you can hear her lock the door behind her. And the door is now locked, and you are effectively, at this point, you're kind of trapped in the office. Because the door to her office is actually much larger than most of the other doors. It's almost like the size of like a walk-in for a restaurant, a walk-in freezer. It's that width of door. And so, yeah, you could probably, knowing you could probably pick the lock, but it's going to be very difficult. Somebody's going to notice this humongous door opening. It's going to be very difficult to not see.
Yeah. I've got an angle.
Okay. It's a ghost.
Yeah. Oh no, I was actually more referring to the cartoon Heavy Metal.
Yeah, I've got an angle.
I've got an angle.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where I was going with. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay put. And when she jets, I want to loot the desk, and I want to begin the looting. I want that rug. I'm.
So yes, there is a large plush area rug that you estimate it is quite large. And you're talking about you want to roll that up and try to put that in your bag of holding, right?
Well, if I can't do that, I will.
Well, let me.
I will do a scry thing and stick it in our vault.
So it says
Yeah.
objects of up to 10 feet by 5 feet by 3 feet can fit inside the bag. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I would say rolling it up. 10 feet. I would assume. It doesn't really say. I would say that it would fit. Yeah. So
well, you kind of make those decisions, so I'm going to trust you on that.
10 feet. The 10-foot. Like if we take that as a diameter, a 10-foot diameter is pretty big. The obviously this room isn't that large. It's maybe 15 feet width by 10 feet. So I mean, that rug, you can roll it up and throw it in there, and that rug, you're estimating that it could be worth upwards of 2,000 gold pieces to the right person.
All right, for my notes, I'm gonna say fancy. I have to get it appraised or something, or can
Well,
I
I
just
mean,
put
you can put
worth 2,000 gold pieces?
2,000 gold pieces. Just put 2,000 gold pieces to the right buyer. Now, like
Or
for
rug.
instance, the average dipshit that you're going to run into in the Imperial Port is probably not the right buyer.
That's fine, but um, I'm really wanting that meta game experience I get for enhancing our worth.
That's true.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
I would say you would be able to collect that experience for the 2,000 gold pieces or however much it sells for when you sell it and collect the gold.
Okay, so I'm gonna put when I sell it, we get the experience.
Correct.
Okay, fair enough. But
So,
it'll make something. But I've
so
titled it the. This will for now be called the fancy whore rug.
yeah, there you go. The fancy horror rug. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be taken any way. I mean, it
It
could be a merkin.
could. Well, let's wait until we do some rituals on it and get some magic going on it, and see what we can have it do. Might need some more higher level magic, maybe some illusionary magic.
Correct.
Well, yeah, but we'll get this rug to Horan for too long.
I had in one of my old 5e home games, I had a friend of mine, show up and he played a bard. I think he was a halfling bard, and instead of playing music or singing or doing poetry, he had a ventriloquist dummy.
Okay.
And the ventriloquist dummy had a wig, but it wasn't really a wig. It was actually a merkin. That it works. And we every time he would do something with that dummy, we would just sit there, just die laughing because it was so dumb. But anyways, like, so you're saying he's got curly hair? So this desk is a dark stained desk covered in papers, mostly ledgers concerning business dealings of the brothel. She keeps pretty detailed ledgers. So pretty much everything on this desk, everything that comes in or goes out, and you can kind of see through these ledgers that in the past, she's even detailed when she paid for more prostitutes. And so,
Okay.
in the ledger it states that they are they are in a well, she says they're in agreement, but it's not like she ever asked them for 1 year of employment, and we can say that with air quotes, at the brothel, and then at the end of the year that they will be given the option to either stay on, and if they stay on, their cut goes from 5 silver pieces per customer or per client to 50%, which is considerable, and or they can of course leave, and that's all it states in the ledgers.
I rolled a 4 to pick locks on the drawer of the desk.
Okay. So yeah, you pick the lock on the drawer, and you find 4 of these. Now that you're closer and you can look in, you find that there are 4 of these sets of plaques, and they're kind of folded up into about the length of like a gold bullion brick, and but they're of course these long, thin brass plaques that are looped together with a little like necklace loop, and so they kind of form this plaque chain kind of thing. And there are 4 of these, and each stack has 6 of these plates. Now, the last stack that you pull out is blank; it doesn't have any names on it yet. But the other 3 are full, so there are 18. Presumably, there are 18 names on these plaques, is what you're guessing. That would be a safe assumption since you just witnessed her do it. And
Yeah, I'm taking all of that and the stylus.
Okay.
And any other anything else that might be here, I want it.
Okay. There is also. Let's see. You find what appears to be either a map or a scroll, and it appears to be. Well, it's rolled up, so you can't see what's on it yet. But when you look at it, just rolled up, and it's got like a leather tie around it, holding it closed. It looks like it's made out of some kind of hide, and that's there. And then there is a pouch.
All right.
In the pouch,
I have labeled the mapper scroll whore room.
Okay.
For later references.
So
I'm pocketing. I'm stealing.
Okay.
I'm not even sure I'm going to look in the pouch. But I mean, you could tell me if it's easier for note thing. But
yeah.
I'm really just I'm stealing.
So
and
in the pouch, ooh, that's a good one. That is a very good one. In the pouch, there are 9 rubies worth 50 gold pieces each.
All right. Is my ring in there?
No.
They gave her 100 gold piece ring for all that, but okay.
Yeah. And looking, so you undo the tie on this scroll or map, and you open it up, and in what appears to be red ink, there is this something. It's written again. It's written in the chaotic tongue of Malum and Ferris, but it is this long diatribe, and it takes up about the size of a legal pad worth of writing, and then you see that there at the bottom what appears to be 2 signatures written in Malum and Ferris.
Yeah, I'm a thief. I'm not really your brainiac here. I'm taking it.
Okay.
I'm taking it all. I'm sticking it in the bag of holding. I'm not really doing a lot of investigation other than finding shit to put in the bag of holding. Like on these desks right over here, what all does she have?
Honestly, that shelf there is mostly just stuff that would be used. It's spare odds and ends that would be used around the bar. There is a cask of wine on the bottom shelf, and then there are a number of mugs and tankards and glasses, and there's like half a wheel of cheese.
All right. What would I think that cask of wine would be worth?
Well, you can taste it, and in your opinion, I mean, it's not the best wine, but it's not bad. You're probably guessing that it's probably worth about 20 gold pieces.
I'm more of wanting. I'm going to give it to my boy to drink. I'm more of getting the price range on it to find out how good it is compared to what he has.
Right.
If you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, there we go. And
here, Jackson, have some mid-shelf wine.
Yeah, got me some mid-shelf wine, and I'm gonna go ahead and steal that, and then I'm gonna take the the desk with all the odds and ends on it up there, and I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna kind of move it all over here, and I'm gonna push this desk kind of over here, and this chair, I'm gonna kind of stick it on top of over here,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna grip my frost brand, and with my other hand, I'm going to start pouring out 5 flasks of oil,
Okay. So
and then
you.
I'm gonna set this shit on fire.
Oh, we gotta read our book.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking all her books.
No, Alora
wait,
and
I got-
Malachi are upstairs for the. Remember, that's why you got the rooms for the rest of the week.
Well, I mean, this room here has to look like something happened. Uh, you know, uh,
All right.
I mean, when she comes and looks in here and she sees all her shit missing, she's gonna think something happened. So, I mean, I'm gonna just continue with my plan, and I'm gonna put all that shit over there, and then, with some chalk that I've already purchased, I'm gonna draw a big circle on this back wall over here,
Okay.
and I'm gonna try to make some fake fucking ruins and shit around the circle, trying to make it look magic as fuck.
Okay. So you're you're going to attempt to make it look like there was some kind of ritual or something that went on here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get something to get the investigation kicking. So when before we get blamed or investigated too hard, my homeboys will come back. That's my plan, and maybe we won't even get thoroughly blamed. I mean, I don't know. Is this a reasonable doubt type place, or is it something that is, prove your innocence? I just don't know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay.
But
So you you pile everything over here and draw a circle. I assume you're lighting this on fire.
the circle? No, I'm just making a big
the pile of furniture.
Oh hell yeah! I'm burning all the furniture, her chair, all of that. But I'm preserving all of her paperwork, so the smart people can investigate that and all the stuff that we've already spoken about that I've stolen. Everything else in this room will become soot.
Okay.
That's the bit. After I do my fake ritual circle of some shit.
Right.
She's probably really magical and it'll see through it, but maybe not. I've seen a lot of shit in my adventures. So I don't know how you want to play that, but I'm sure doing it.
Okay, so let's see. Trying to see what she has. So you light this fire, and of course, it with the flasks of oil, it goes up pretty quick.
Hell yeah!
And we will come back to you on what's going on with that. For now, we're going to go back over to St. Burton's Theological Academy, which means I need to switch pages. So Mavis, Dentry, Jackson, and Peppermint are in the chapel hall of the 12 Gods. You have met Kabshiel, who essentially tells you, as Mavis is finishing up healing him and kind of releasing him from his bonds, he tells you that he was sent to the Prime Plane to locate a holy object, specifically the Holy Sword of Saint Gloust. Now, Gloust is a holy figure, a saint, and he is known. Of course, the capital city of the Glaustian Empire is Glaushine, and it is named in his honor, as is the entire empire. And what he was known for is that at some point in the distant past, in fact, I can tell you exactly right. Well, not exactly, but I can tell you right about when. It, uh, uh, so around negative 983. So from 1153 to around negative 983, most of this area, the Braunhaven region and the Gaulish Empire as a whole, was ruled over by a vampire lord named Faunstein. And he had crossed over the Veil on Veil's Eve and just basically began a reign of terror across the entire Gaulish Empire. And this went on for a relatively long while. It was clearly not something that that the people could allow to go on. And sorry, hold on. I guess something important here. Okay, I guess. Anyways, so Faunstein, and of course, along with Faunstein came his litany of lieutenants and generally a cadre of assholes, most of them undead in some form or another, lesser vampires, things of that nature, and they ruled over the Gaulish Empire. And the peasantry, they were getting eaten. They were basically humans and demi-humans were treated like basically a food source for this army of vampires. And along came Gloust. And Gloust kept things quiet enough that he was able to go from village to village and town to town, and he essentially raised an army of these peasants, and they laid siege to Faunstein's Castle Faunstein, which is now in the heart of Glaustein, the capital city. And total victory was at hand, and Gloust raided Faunstein's castle, and in a big, huge final duel, they got into a fight, and he killed Faunstein. However, he was so badly wounded, it is said that he shortly thereafter ended up succumbing to his own wounds. And his death prompted the goddess Navius to consecrate the castle with the holy power of the Council of the 12 Elder Gods. And so it is it is said that it is a sacrosanct holy shrine to this day. And Gloust's body was interred there. And it's said that his body is there to this day. In the capital city of Glaustein, in Castle Faunstein. So that's why Gloust is considered a saint. And there is, in the Borderlands region, there is there is an abbey of paladins, an order of paladins that venerate Gloust, and they essentially, part of their tenet is to mimic how Gloust, in the modern age, they attempt to mimic how Gloust did his work. And these paladins will go around trying to keep a low profile, more or less, which is kind of hard for a paladin because if they see evil, they have to undo it. And they will go from town to town, and they try to essentially raise up the populace because they believe that the Emperor Lucian Cestus in the modern age is, of equal threat. And so paladins aren't having as much luck as Gloust did. Maybe it's just a different time, but, So this is why Gloust is considered a saint. And Kabshiel was sent to get his sword. But because Archons are so they are the epitome of the lawful alignment, and because of that zeal, they tend to sometimes have blinders on because they can only see in one direction. And in that zeal, he ended up being tricked and bound in the chapel hall. This guy, I mean, Mavis,
So
even.
did he come? Did the St. Burton's Theological Academy have something to do with finding that sword? I thought it was at somebody's tower or whatever.
No,
Or did he just happen to be here?
he came to St. Burton's Theological Academy pretty much for a similar reason that you came. Um, just because he's an archon, there's this assumption. Thank you, Christianity, that the gods know all, and that's not necessarily true. And so he came to St. Burton's Theological Academy kind of in an attempt to confirm or deny that the sword is in Castle Fonestein. He never really got that far. Now, even Mavis, being lawful good, in dealing with Kabshiel, you're kind of like, this guy's a asshole. He's a pain in the ass, is what he is. I mean, he is so good that he is just hard to be around.
Like the Flanders kids.
Yeah,
right?
he's like Flanders on meth. Yeah, they are. The Archons are so lawful that they really don't even have much tolerance for people or for beings of neutral alignment, and they will actively seek out and destroy those of chaotic alignment. So he's just not really going to be very good at keeping a low profile. And like I said, this guy looks like what he. Where is his description? So he has the head, arms, and torso of a large, muscular man with the lower body of a giant eagle. And he does have wings with golden feathers, but like right now, even after the healing, it's going to take him a little bit. They are badly clipped and damaged from his battle. And he told you that he had done battle with a screaming demon. A screaming demon, a good. They're otherwise known as Vrox. They're kind of like a vulture kind of demon. Kind of look like Skeksis, to be real honest. And he does tell you that he locked him in the Hall of the Old Gods. So that's what he has informed you of.
Does he think we could take it, like if as a group, or is the demon too powerful?
That's a good question. He does tell you that that this is important. He tells you. Now, like I said, it's important. So he told Mavis his true name is Kabshiel. There is, especially for magic users, and this goes for divine as well, or clerics. Knowing an archon's true name, or knowing an archon or a demon. So demons are to devils what angels are to gods. An archon is kind of the top tier of angels, more or less. He told you his real name, so he's putting a lot of trust in Mavis. He also tells you the true name of the screaming demon, and he says that he hunted Seguloth to this site, and he's not sure what Seguloth was doing here, but what? So Mavis is what, level 8?
Yeah.
What level is Dentry and Jackson?
Dentry is 8. Jackson is 7.
And we know that Peppermint's like level 4.
That's right.
So Kabshiel, Kabshiel is he is lawful, so he's not going to he's not going to sugarcoat it. He tells you that Seguloth is exceptionally dangerous. He's not sure how many of you would survive an attack or a battle with Seguloth. But having said that, he says that it doesn't matter. Seguloth has to be dealt with, and whether I have your assistance or not, I still have to go deal with him. To give you an example, Kabshiel is a 20 hit dice monster.
Wow.
And he casts spells as a 12th level cleric.
Crap.
One of his abilities is he can once per day the Archon may hurl a bolt of purity. I'm imagining it's like everybody gets a purity ring from Disney. Bolt appears similar to a lightning bolt, but causes all victims to become lawful alignment and peaceful for 2d6 turns. It removes all evil thoughts, but does not cause damage.
Dang. Well, there's a brothel that could use that. A lot of effects.
He can also once per day create a sword of flame. It's the same size as a normal sword, but is constructed of solid golden fire. Once created, the sword will last for 3 turns, and he can teleport at will. But the chains that he was in, he explains that they prevented him from teleporting. The other thing, Mavis, you note that when you take these chains, these barbed chains off of him, I mean, they are, these chains are twisted, and there's these spikes sticking out of them. You've never seen anything quite like this, and they're made out of a metal that you've never quite seen before. It's almost like a black iron, but not quite. When you take them off of him and you're just kind of dumping them on the floor, they turn into smoke and wisp away and disappear.
Wow. Well, it seems like we need our whole crew to fight the demon.
Yeah, I mean,
unless we can develop a solid plan, I don't think that all of us dying for no reason doesn't seem like a good way.
So Kabshiel tells you that he would be happy to, if you wanted to go back and get the rest of your comrades, he would be happy to wait here in the Hall of the 12 Elder Gods, whom he works for, so he's comfortable here. And that would allow him to kind of heal up. Presently, I can tell you that he is at 25 out of 100 hit points.
My. Okay. That's what I will promise him then.
Okay. What did... I mean, you guys were here looking for information on the brass plaques, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, does he know anything about it? No, wait, I already asked him, didn't I? I think that's how we found out about it.
Yeah, so...
Well, not the devil, but we don't know which devil.
You learned somewhere along the way that if we destroy the plaques...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he tells you that these brass plaques are usually tied to some kind of contract manuscript. And the contract manuscript is almost always written on tanned human flesh. And and it is written in blood of the victim that the flesh came from. And this contract basically spells out that whoever's name is inscribed on these brass plaques, that soul then belongs to whichever devil has essentially given this contract to. And so that the person who signs this contract is then given these brass plaques, and their job is to go out and get as many souls as possible for this whatever devil it is contracted to. To put an end to that, you can destroy those brass plaques, and that person's soul will then be released back into their possession, or potentially released from the 9 hells, wherever it is. And you will also want to destroy the contract, because there would be if the contract is still in place, there would be nothing to stop this individual from just getting more brass plaques and continuing on. And Kabshiel goes so far as to say that, in his opinion, he would put an end to whoever is holding this contract, because no good can come of them continuing to exist. And he says it in such a way that you have the feeling that he is talking about something more than just killing the individual.
Oh. Well, I'm down with that, because I also dislike evil a lot. So I'll do my very best to convince all my friends to come and help get rid of this demon.
Okay. So let's see, what else is in here?
Books.
So each of these 4 little areas, these are what would be known, and you, Mavis, you would have seen something similar to these in other churches. These are what would be known as study alcoves. And there are bronze statues that depict each of the elder gods of the 12 elder gods. And there are bookshelves in each of these little alcoves that are all pretty much filled with books and scrolls and things of that nature. When you step into these alcoves, there's obviously some kind of magic at play, because sound it's not like a zone of silence, but everything is muted. So like if you speak or scream even in a normal or loud voice, it simply comes out as a quiet whisper.
But I probably shouldn't spend time looking through the books, right?
I mean, you could spend 2 turns looking through the books if you'd like. I mean,
I think I might.
Did Dentry and Jackson want to explore the alcoves as well?
I mean, Jackson has no purpose for books. He's illiterate.
Okay.
He has spent all of his.
Even if he found one that's interesting, he may not know what it is.
Right. He's a nature dude. He's been out in nature. He was raised in nature. He doesn't understand like words the same way everybody else does. But he's incredibly he's just capable, just not with words.
Right. I would think that Jackson is probably more of a follower of the old gods too, having been a ranger. Rangers are very close to druids, so.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, cool. You guys have your new gods, whatever. That's awesome. It's not like they're not as cool as mine, but I mean, cool. Right on.
Right. What about Dentry?
Dentry is kind of just like looking over at the Archon, just like, if he keeps looking at me like that, I don't think he's gonna make it to the fight.
Yeah. I mean, I would take it that Dentry's not lawful.
He is neutral, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the Archon.
They're both neutral, so they're both like, I'll put this.
The Archon would be looking at you. He would be giving you the side eye, but he is behaving himself because of the generosity and kindness of Mavis. He knows that you're friends of hers, so he's trying to put on his best. He's putting his best talent forward, as it were.
Gotcha.
I would think
Dentry's probably just shadowing At this point, Gentry's just shadowing Peppermint wherever she goes. It's like, hey, boo.
I would think that all of you, even Mavis, would be. Initially, you were kind of awestruck. I mean, you are actually seeing
An Archon.
in the flesh an Archon, which is not.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's not to be dismissed. But Mavis and Peppermint, it looks like Peppermint wanted to do some searching. Both of you can roll a d6.
They both got 4.
So what did they get?
Both characters got 4.
Okay. Let's see here. So both of them, you look through the text. Both of you look through the texts and scrolls that are here. All of it seems to just be, catechism. It's just religious doctrine, or a lot of it could be like religious theory. One cleric's thoughts on, well, maybe this is what they meant by this, and it's all dogma. Yeah, but you don't find anything of any interest.
Okay, well, I'll start heading out the door then. Dang.
Okay. All right, so we will grab you guys. Actually, I'm going to do that. And then do that. And so you guys should all be back. You should all be seeing Madame Bousaird, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say to the party, just like as we're heading back, we should probably get back. I just have a gut feeling that guy's doing something sneaky.
Something ridiculous. All right. So, back to Boorman. So it takes maybe another 2 turns for the smoke to build up in this room, and it starts to pour out under this door. And that it doesn't take very long that a hue and cry goes up from the bouncers, and they are over here pouring, as much water as they can on the door, but the door's locked and they can't get in.
I want to try to build a little, maybe if it's been burning for a minute and there's like soot or something, I want to try to block the crack of the door a little bit. I don't want the water putting my fire out or even interfering, but might draw some more hand signals and smut on another wall.
Okay.
Look, like I'm free now, bitch, or something like that.
Right. I want to move some guys here.
Everybody's coming down. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and I mean, the smoke, of course, is going up through the balcony openings on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And so the guards on those floors are coming down to try to help. You can hear outside the door that, there is somebody's beating on the door. They're using, a table, or the guards probably aren't that bright. They might be using a keg, trying to open the door. And make a. Oh shit! I almost thought about the wrong game. I was gonna ask you to make an endurance check. Make a Constitution ability check.
I've got my sword. I'm immune to smoke.
You're immune to smoke, or are you immune to fire?
I figured it'd be fire and smoke and everything with natural stuff.
I don't.
I mean, if I could stand in the fire without having any effects,
You know, well,
but I'll make a
it
con check.
wouldn't burn you, but you would still have to breathe it.
Okay, well, I made my check.
Okay, so yeah, you're starting to you're trying to keep it quiet, but you are starting to cough a little bit, but you're not to the point where you are um uh you're not to the point where you're going to pass out from smoke inhalation or anything like that. And of course, you are immune to the flames, but the room is quickly filling up with smoke. There's no windows. Now, that's to be expected. But it's a brothel. There's probably not going to be windows. How many strip clubs have you ever been in that had windows? It's always pitch black in there.
It is always, yeah.
And so, so yeah, the room is filling up with smoke, and it's like I said, it took about 10 minutes for it to fill up that way, and another 10 minutes for it to essentially the room is filled, and now it's spilling out under the door. The flames, because you because you piled up and poured oil. The flames are kind of in this general vicinity. But after 20 minutes, the oil has pretty much at that point burned off, and so you're seeing what's left here is smoking. The remains of smoking furniture, and the fire has kind of died down a bit.
I've got more oil flasks to add to it.
The doors on
Yeah.
like kind of on fire, and it hasn't really spread too much. This this wall's on fire. There is some potential for further problems here.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
But so far, it is not. It's not spreading too much. You could, of course, attempt to throw another flask of oil on it.
Yeah, I do. I want to put another. If it's starting to die down, I need that. I need that stuff flaming.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and push it up against the door. So when they, well, I don't know if the door opens in. I don't want to obstruct that. Does the door open in or out?
It opens in.
Okay, then yeah, I want to make sure they got enough room to open the door.
Okay. Yeah,
But
and all the time, because of the size of the door and because of this tiny size of this office, the times that you have followed Madame Bousaird in here, the door only opens to about right here. Because of course, if the door were to open all the way, it would run into the desk, and so it only opens a certain. It is likely in your thoughts that this room was not originally planned to be an office. This was probably supposed to be something else. She kind of just took it as an office and ran with it.
it's not really an office anymore.
Right. So you douse it again. Oh yeah, now the fire is going up. This wall's on fire. The door's on fire. And now perhaps there's a bit of a concern because the fire is not sticking strictly to the oil. It is now the ceiling is also on fire.
Good.
And
Yeah.
so this room up here is gonna have some hot feet for whoever's in there.
I bet they find a way to open the damn door. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they are bashing on the door. Another 10 minutes goes by. These guys. would have made it down by now. And she, of course, would come down. She is highly concerned. Her business is on fire. And you could hear just a cacophony of noise on the other side over the sound of these roaring flames. It is about this time that you guys enter, and you can see that the tap room of the brothel is quickly filling up with smoke, and you are starting to see the licks of flame come out from under the door. So what does Mavis, Dentry, and Jackson and Peppermint want to do about this?
Let's see here. Peppermint's got a pretty good chance of opening a stuck door. That's not the same for a locked one, is it?
Yeah, this is a locked door. I mean, she could of course try to bash at the door, but Madame Bousaird, you see Madame Bousaird come running down the stairs. You see her running across the bar over to the door, and I have to look at her. Huh. Tieflings are not immune to fire.
Wow. We need some water up in here.
So she tells one of the bouncers. She says, pour water on the lock, you fool. And so he douses a bucket of water onto the iron. It's just an iron door handle with one of the thumb triggers, and then there's an inset lock below it. And he dumps water on it, and she reaches around her neck, and you can see steam pouring off of this iron lock. And she pulls off of a chain around her neck. She pulls off a key and unlocks the door. And these two guys are trying to use chairs and whatnot to push the door open. And the office is engulfed at this point in fire.
Wow.
Boorman, the door's open. What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking there's a lot of people in the doorway right now, so I've got to give it a second. I've got to, but I'm trying to see if she backs up and creates some kind of space or something. I want to try to slip right past her and jump over the bar.
Okay.
There's smoke. People are going to be coughing. When you open the barbecue grill and it's got too much smoke, people have a tendency to kind of want to back up off of it a little bit. I want to see if I can find something like that taking place and just kind of make my exit in style.
Okay. So Mavis, Jackson, Dentry, and Peppermint, you see that she has unlocked the door, and you can see that this office is a roaring fire.
Jackson has the most movement, right? Can I tell him to go get the tankard of liquid?
To go get the what?
The tankard of liquid that can pour out
yes.
a bunch of liters of seawater.
Yeah, you can
go get it, Jackson. Run.
The jug of endless water. So you want Jackson to run upstairs and get the jug of endless water or endless liquid from, I assume Alora's got it, right?
Yeah, she's the one that's holding on to it.
All right, so yeah, Jackson Mavis tells you to go get the jug. You are muted.
I go get the jug. I mean, are we in combat movement or are we in exploration movement?
You can move your exploration movement, right?
I mean, that's
forever.
Yeah, that's 180 feet. So
yeah,
these are 5-foot squares.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 75, 80, 90, 95, 100, 105, 10, 20, 30, or I'm sorry, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. Wow, you can do it in one turn. Yeah.
I turned on my flash mode and just pew.
The fire seems to be contained to the office, which is good because that d6 I rolled was to see if it had caught any of the highly flammable liquor at the bar on fire, and it did not. These guys are actually doing a fairly good job of dousing the flame. Go ahead and get rid of this since we know where the fire is. And these guys kind of move in. And they are... Madame Bousaird is kind of standing outside. She is... Mavis and Dentry and Peppermint can see that Madame Bousaird is obviously livid. She is... but also just upset. You know, this is her livelihood. And she doesn't seem to be like tearing up or anything like that, but she is clearly upset and mad and not, and she doesn't know what's going on, and she is kind of baring her teeth, and she's got this mouthful of needle like razor sharp teeth that show when she's doing this. There is an opening here for Boorman.
Yeah, I want to go. I would like to leave the area as any good thief would.
Okay. Go ahead. You can move your exploration movement rate.
Okay. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I think I got 60 exploration. I'm in leather. So I've got the big movement.
Yeah, it should have higher than that, I believe.
I got 90.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go outside and then become visible and then
Okay.
walk in with my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, and just kind of walk out and walk in and be like, "Well, what's going on? What the hell?" Put my hand on Dentry's thing and be like, "Man, good to see you guys."
So Boorman, one thing. So you jumped over the bar. Make a dexterity ability check.
All right, if you insist.
Yeah,
I'm good.
So yeah, you jump and slide over the bar, step outside, pull off your ring of invisibility, and step in and pretend like you have no idea what's going on. And Madame Bousaird, oh my God, what's going on? And Madame Bousaird, somebody lit my office on fire. And it's pretty obvious that the fire was not an accident because all the furniture is moved. And you can hear from inside, one of the bouncers yells back, he says, "Oh, there's some kind of weird arcane writing on the wall." And Madame Bousaird looks in at the writing, and she says, that's interesting. So she looks at the writing on the wall, and she says, "I've never seen anything like that before." What do you guys want to do?
Well, Mavis will want to look at the writing and see if she can figure out what it is, I guess.
So Mavis, you look at the writing. It could be maybe arcane, but it certainly doesn't look like any language that that you've seen. It doesn't look like any magical writing that you've seen. You're not sure what this is. At one point,
I'm gonna put on the helm.
one of the runes almost
I
looks like a
put on the
smiley
helm of-
face, and there's another one
If
that
I
looks.
put on the helm of read languages, I'll know it's nonsense for sure, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, you put on the helm and you look at this, and it's complete nonsense. Like one of them's like a triangle that looks like he gave it horns, and there's a slash through it. Like none of it makes any sense.
I'll tell her this isn't a real language, whatever it is.
Must be an inside
I
job.
guess that's as helpful as I can be.
Yeah. One of your employees must have stole your shit.
She says that's impossible. I'm the only one with a key. And she goes,
Well, I doubt you'd steal your own stuff.
She says, I don't think any of my people would steal anything. She looks over at this guy. She goes, would they, Roger? He's like, yeah, I've never stolen from you, ma'am. Yeah, and you better not ever try.
Well, Boorman will offer for a nominal fee to do the investigation. We're real good at this stuff.
So she says, she goes, no, I'm going to keep this in-house for the moment. But
Okay.
Thank you for the offer.
Hey, what are friends for? You've been a wonderful hostess to us, and me and my friends are very, very happy for your great treatment.
Everybody can make a...
This smoke has made me want to take a bath. I think some of it's got in my clothes, you know?
So Jackson makes his way back all the way down with the jug. What does Jackson want to do with the jug?
Fire's out already, right?
No, it's they're still fighting it.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
Boorman will.
Seawater is the one.
Yeah. Boorman's going to hang out next to Jackson if he's going to take the water in there. I'm trying to make sure I get smoke in my clothes. You know, I want to be seen in the smoke, so I have reason.
I want you to. Here, Jackson's going to be like, Boorman, get out your frostbrand. Maybe we can put this out.
I'll do that. And I will.
Oh yeah.
I will grab my sword and go in and push the sword in the fire and be like, this is a magical sword, and fire has a chance to go out just by its presence.
Okay, so yeah, you let's see, that is so roll a percentage. You want to get 50 or lower.
Okay. Well.
No. So yeah, you stick your frostbrand in the fire and nothing happens. Jackson, what are you doing?
But I throw water right where he was at the same time.
Okay, so you say the command word and seawater starts gushing out of the jug, and you're splashing water around. And after another 20 minutes, you are able to get the fire under control and put out. And Madame Bousaird kind of comes in, and she pulls out a sword, and she's kind of poking through the burned wreckage of her furniture in her office, and she reaches down, and the charred remains of her desk, and she kind of wiggles a burnt drawer and opens it, and she's like, this was definitely a theft. And everybody can make a wisdom ability check. Ooh. Mm.
Oh, and my other guy's not down there, so nope, sorry. Just a hard fail.
Jackson just makes it.
Okay. What about
Andrew's like, we're looking for what? Wisdom what? Huh?
What about Mavis?
Peppermint and Mavis and Peppermint both know it.
Okay, so Mavis, Peppermint, and Jackson, you can see that Madame Bousaird's demeanor has somewhat changed. And now it is not only concern for the fact that her livelihood almost went up in flames, and that she was robbed. But now is, you see on her face a look of abject fear.
Oh no. Oh yeah, she's
I mean,
probably really in
Jackson's
big
not
trouble
exactly
for losing
charismatic,
her
and he's
face.
not gonna come over and be like, "Hey, you okay?"
She says to Jackson, she says, "I'll be fine. I'm just worried about how I'm going to take care of all of this and how long it's going to put my business
Well, perhaps you ought to holler at I know the leader of the Thieves Guild's name, right?
under." Yes, I believe that you did learn that.
I'm from here, and I grew up kind of, just so I'll be like, well, have you talked to whatever the fuck the Thief Guild leader's name is? He's definitely probably, no
The
one would steal anything under his watch without being part of his.
So the current leader of the guilds of the guildmaster of the Thieves Guild is a young gentleman named. Oh, well, named. On here. What book am I? There we go.
I think it's like in the second or third
Yeah.
Lore of Braunhaven video.
There he is. So you know that and I'm just showing a picture just because, that the current guildmaster of the Thieves Guild is named Tabor Marsden, and
Yeah,
he looks like this.
looks like an upstanding individual.
Yes, he's not rakish at all.
Hmm.
And
But
so,
yeah.
so
Should holler at Tabor. He no one would steal under his jurisdiction without him knowing about it. Why? No one's that dumb.
she agrees with that. She says, "Yeah, that is a very good point." Um, she says, "Yes, perhaps speaking with him would be an excellent idea." And so she, at that point, she says, "In fact, I'm going to go see Mr. Marsden right now." And she leaves, and as she's leaving, she tells her bouncers to do what they can to clean the place up. And she says that she doesn't intend to close the business today.
I want to go in the secret door room now.
So all of these guys down here, we're gonna move her off the map. There will be like 4 guys in her office, and another 3 are up in this room, because this room is where the ceiling was from the office. So they may have to close this particular party room for the night.
Cool.
And what would you guys like to do at this point?
I want to go through the secret passage.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's with me or what, but I mean, now is the opportunity. The cat has left the house. The cat house is catless, and we should go see what's in that room.
I just want to be like, what's with all the cat talk? There's no cats around here.
It's a cat house. Haven't you noticed there's no mice?
What? What?
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Then she's like, yeah.
So
yeah.
upstairs, before we decide to do the secret door, upstairs on the 3rd floor, Alora and Malachi, you can definitely smell smoke, and peeking your head out the door of your room, you can see that there is a fairly heavy smoke hanging in the air.
Open windows.
There are no windows.
Ah, bullshit.
All privacy all the time.
Well, I don't know. Will it? We only have to do our work 8 hours a day. We can go talk to our friends and see what's going on, right?
Yeah, it's up to Alora and Malachi what they want to do. If they want to go investigate what the hell's going on.
Well, I mean, building being on fire, I got to think that, let's gather our things and
I'm sure that Jackson would have made a comment or said something about fire and his need for the jug of endless liquids.
Yeah.
I like need this fire by.
Yes.
I mean, I was going really quickly, so I was like,
right.
Yeah, well, I think we should go see what's going on, Alora. What do you think?
Well, we have been like a sedentary situation for several days. Looking at the books, it's probably good to get out.
Yeah.
Stepping outside, your eyes are crossed from reading.
But maybe
Yeah.
get something to eat,
That sounds good.
Yeah. All these
So
hookers look
everybody's
too
going.
alive for my taste. If they would stay inside and maybe, not feed them for a month or two, they might look a little better.
So, Alora and Malachi,
Here's a
as you
necro.
are coming down the stairs, you of course run into the rest of the party. At Boorman, I take it you're pushing open the secret door.
Yeah.
So, in this secret passage, you can move Boorman wherever you would like.
I want to come in and check out the secret, especially while all my homeboys are just, and homegirls are all just milling right outside. That provides perfect cover. People standing in the stairway, having conversations. Why, that's just great.
Excuse me. So this door, this secret door, is basically a panel in the wall that kind of clicks into place and then just kind of swings open. And in here, there's an 8-foot ceiling, and everything in here is made of like scratched up wood. Like it's not finished like the rest of the building. And this passage runs behind this spiral staircase, and on the other side, you see. Yes, I can do that. There is another secret door here. And on this side, of course, these secret doors are pretty obvious.
Well, I have to open it.
So it leads into this room. It is. There it is. This is typically used, as all of the other ones are on this floor, as one of the hourly rate rooms. It has dark stained doors. There's no locks on the door. There's a single bed, and there is, in this particular room, there is a vanity, and over here there is a rack of there are 2 racks of dresses, and one rack has a bunch of dresses. The other rack has your mid-shelf range or mid-rack range dress outfits for men. And then the vanity, of course, there is there's a number of different types of makeup and whatnot, and there's not a tub, but there is a bucket with a wash rag that obviously the pros use to tidy up. And it looks like this room is where Madame Bousaird would take the newer prostitutes immediately in order to get them show-worthy.
Okay. Well, that wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be. So I totally got that wrong. I really apologize. All that distraction was a series of dominoes to get me here. And yeah, I mean, if I'm not seeing anything else, I guess this is just some type of quick way to get into the horror room and not be in the open area. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick look around and see if there's any other secret passages in
It
here.
seems like a room that you would have someone like you want a certain guest in that room and you want to make them feel special there. So they've got like the nice girl there. She's all prettied up and the nice guy there is looking good.
Yeah.
It's like a room for like one of your better guests,
Right.
but she has the secret entrance to see and make sure everything goes smoothly.
I'm just gonna kind of go backtrack and come back out and be like, "Wow, guys, maybe we should leave." Maybe we should go get a different hotel. I don't know. This place here is. I know we pay a lot of money, but we ought to go.
so you have an opportunity here, Boorman. You have the stuff that you stole. I mean, are you going to show any of this to the rest of the party, or are you hanging on to this keeping it to yourself?
I'm trying not to have this conversation or show and tell where guards are able just to aimlessly walk in. I don't know what kind of fucking con man you think I am, but I'm not a new one. I'll tell you that.
So yeah, I mean, where do you guys want to go from here?
Let's go up to the study room and have a talk, fellas. There's some stuff that really concerns me. If y'all don't mind.
Okay.
I've got something in my pants I want to show you.
We should make sure there's no damage on our floor. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna hope is we can all just come in this room right here and I can pull out all the shit. Yeah, be like, man, I stole a whole bunch of shit from her office. And I'll pull out these brass things and be like, she was signing these with this pen, and she's got this map or scroll thing is in these fucked up languages. I also hit her up for some rubies. And I'll show Gentry, like the top of the cask. And I got you some wine for later, but we don't need to take this container out around in here. And I have all her paperwork from all her records. Have all of that too.
So,
and a horror rug.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe a merkin. I know there's going to be somebody who's watching this and be like, "What the fuck is a merkin?" And they're going to go to Google. They're going to type it in.
Gonna find out.
Yep, going to find out what a merkin is. If you do that in Google, there's actually an old black and white photo of a guy selling merkins.
There's
fucking hilarious.
These junior high kids, they made references to this Skibbity Toilet show on YouTube. Yeah. So we've started using it in common language just to totally burn the kids off of it. So because if when the old people start using their slang, they're like, that slang sucks.
Right.
So,
right.
Anytime the kids are around, I'll be like, well, that's a fucking Skibbity Toilet right there. And they all kind of look at me, and it's reminded me of that. Sorry.
That Skibbity Toilet's totally Riz.
Yeah.
Fucking kids. What? I know pretty much everybody else's alignment. What is Malachi's alignment?
Oh, Malachi is chaotic as fuck.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he's a necromancer.
So immediately upon saying this, everybody can tell that Malachi gets a bit of an erection because he's seeing this scroll and he's like, "Oh, that's cured human skin," and he checks it out and he reads over this. The text on it, and because of course he can read Malum and Ferris due to his alignment, he looks it over and he tells you exactly what this is. This is a contract between Madame Bousaird and the devil Ammon of the Nine Hells, basically agreeing that any name that she inscribes on these brass plaques, and it has to be, she has to be in possession, according to the contract, she has to be in possession of the individual. So they have to be a slave or an indentured servant of some type in order for this contract to be complete. But when they are, and she puts their name on one of the brass plaques, that individual soul is now belongs to Ammon in the Nine Hells.
Yeah, guys, this shit's fucked up. The skin is very well preserved, though.
Gantry is like, wait, is Peppermint his name? And what about Peppermint?
And
Peppermint on there?
and of course, I mean, Malachi is really all over this because the it's not red ink; it was written in blood.
Yeah,
You know, it's the good stuff. This is the real deal.
Yeah, what's going to happen to Peppermint? Oh,
Peppermint's name, and looking over the plaques, of course, Peppermint's name is on one of those plaques.
do we think if we deface the plaques so they don't have names on them, that will free them?
we heard you have to destroy them, but we don't know how to do that.
Yeah, they would have to be completely destroyed. I mean, you're talking about something along the lines of like, basically going to a blacksmith shop and throwing them into the smelter.
Yeah.
You know,
All right, we're gonna have to destroy. Yeah. We'll go ahead. Malachi will still tell the people. I mean, what's good for the party is still good for him, even if he, kind of joneses on it. But we really need to go and put these things in a forge and melt them and burn the scroll. I think it'll free the souls and end this blessing that was bestowed upon these slaves.
Blessing. So, Mavis, you can make a intelligence ability check.
Oh, shit.
That's not her strong point.
No, it's not.
Oh shit. So yeah, Mavis like shit. I mean, she beyond what obviously what Malachi has read off of this contract, Mavis is at a loss as to why a devil would want all these souls.
Well, we can wait until the tiefling comes back and ask, or we can go to another hotel and just act like nothing happened.
Isn't leaving so quickly kind of suspicious?
Yeah,
there was fire. The place has a smell to it now. I mean,
Peppermint.
Yeah. Well,
Why
Peppermint
don't we go to a blacksmith?
Yeah, we can go to the blacksmith. Maybe tell the guards, hey, we're gonna go into town and get some armor worked on. If you tell us where a blacksmith is,
so
be really cool. Give you guys a chance to clean up and freshen up the place.
So you're gonna go down and ask one of the guys. You're wanting to go downstairs and ask one of the bouncers, if they know where a blacksmith is.
That's what I think we should do, unless someone's against it. And then
It was and Mavis and Malachi. I mean, you guys are still having to do your downtime. If it's interrupted, then you have to start over.
But
yeah, Laura will go back to the room and keep reading. It's okay.
And Malachi, if it's interrupted, you would not only have to start over, but the investment of gold would be lost. So.
Well, I'll stay there.
Okay.
I guess if we're not suspected, we're not suspected. And right now, Thinking we at least got a day or two before people can really figure out what the fuck's going on. We might not get caught. I don't know.
So
We melt the evidence quickly. Yeah.
wow, how did I? Oh, I know.
I mean, the only other thing I know we could do is kill all the henchmen while she's away, and then yank her when she comes home. To be alone.
Yeah.
Frightened. Cold.
It seems like I think the madam is in trouble with the demon or whatever. Losing the soul.
If the demon
I mean,
kills her,
Can
we don't
Peppermint
get to...
even fight against her if her soul's bound?
Well, yes, she could, but essentially, if Peppermint, so essentially, what this contract is saying, so the way that it works in the Braunhaven campaign setting, if you die, you will cross over the veil, and the veil is basically the ethereal plane. And from there, you go into the shadow plane. And in the shadow realm, the longer that you are in the shadow realm, the less that you remember of your previous life. And most of the people that are in the shadow realm end up going about their lives in a manner that people would on the prime plane. They end up, there are farmers and there are businesses and there are dark corrupted type towns in the shadow realm. And after a certain length of time, they don't remember their past life. And you sit in the shadow realm for who knows how long, because time doesn't work the same way. It could be centuries, it could be a day or two. It's impossible to know. And at the end of that time, sooner or later, Octus, the Lord of the Dead, calls you forth, and you are put on trial. And this trial is then your previous deeds on the prime plane are weighed, and it is decided whether or not you will go to the Celestial Palace or wherever you are, usually reincarnated if you're a follower of the old gods. And it is decided whether or not, or reborn rather, it is decided whether or not you will go to the Celestial Palace to live with whatever elder god that you chose, or reborn on the prime plane for the old gods. Or if you were a naughty individual, you may end up going to the nine hells. And that, of course, is the worst. Below the nine hells, of course, there are 9 levels of the hells. Below, at the very bottom, there is a 10th level that is essentially the abyss, which holds is the home of the demons, which are the devil's version of angels. And not only that, but the abyss also holds a prison, Tartarus, that is essentially the worst of the worst of the worst get put into Tartarus for all eternity. And there are demons that have been put into Tartarus and are guarded by their own kind, that they are so bad that they are imprisoned by their own kind. So Tartarus the abyss is like really bad. It's a bad place. So that is the belief. In Peppermint's case, because her name is on this plaque, she does not pass go. She does not collect $200. She goes directly to the 9 hells, and her soul would now be in possession of Ammon, the devil. I believe Ammon is an archdevil. I'd have to look it up again, but yeah, I believe Ammon is a big guy.
We definitely
in
don't
other
need
words,
to be...
don't let her fight, because if she fights and dies before that plaque is destroyed, that's it for her.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do a raised dead on her either, because her soul is in. You would have a raised dead spell wouldn't
go
work.
to hell.
A wish spell would have maybe a 30% chance of working. and the only surefire way, 100%, would be to go down and retrieve her physically from the Nine Hells.
That sounds like a bad
I
idea.
know.
We're gonna try to
Yeah,
avoid
I
that quest line until we get some more levels.
Peppermint really wants her plaque destroyed, like ASAP. That
Right?
would be
Well,
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
that
gonna
would
go
be
do that.
priority one for her. Yes.
Yeah. Well, does Peppermint know where a blacksmith is?
Yeah. There is a working blacksmith in the Grand Mall. Here. I mean, I would think. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. That.
I think we got to burn the contract too. Maybe even the stylus pen.
Mm.
We should definitely destroy the contract. Yes.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Nope.
there would be some kind of basic blacksmith able to create mundane items that would be available in the Grand Mall.
And then, I mean, I think that's where
I mean,
we're
if push
going.
comes to shove, we can make a hot enough fire. It was just going to be hard work for us.
Yeah.
Well, alternately, and so, is it Dentry or Jackson that is the blacksmith?
I am an armor. Dentry's an armor and a Fletcher.
Okay. So, you guys do know that there is an abandoned blacksmith shop in the Docks District.
Let's go there. Go to the abandoned.
Yeah,
dock.
why makes much sense to go to one that's abandoned? Because they're like, hey, why would we pay someone for services when I can do it myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, the privacy thing where we can
Yeah,
talk it
nobody will
out.
know.
Yeah. I mean, we'll start with doing peppermints and see if she can tell that her soul's been freed. Because if all those other henchmen have had their souls done, if they could tell they've been freed, then Madame Bousaird's place is going to go into chaos quickly.
Chris,
Mhm.
question.
Yeah.
With me being like a blacksmith, an armorer, and having a magic person, like, am I good enough to make stuff that can be enchanted?
No.
Oh.
I mean,
No, it's fair. It's fair. No,
Well-
I think you know.
well, I generally no. And the
I'm
reason
not masterwork level.
So, right. So, the way this basically. So, here's what it says about secondary skills. It says, generally speaking, knowledge of a secondary skill allows the character to perform the functions of a profession at a basic level. And the reason why you will never be a truly skilled armorer would be because. Essentially,
I'm doing it secondary, passively. It's not my
right.
main thing.
Yeah, your main thing is being an adventurer. But let me look.
Maybe if I retire.
So essentially, an armorer would be a specialist. Producing weapons and armor per month. An armorer can make 5 weapons, 3 shields, or 1 suit of armor. A dedicated armor is required per 50 troops. Assistance. An armorer's output, either in terms of arms produced or troops maintained, may be doubled by hiring assistant armorers and 1 blacksmith. So, let's see, blacksmith trained in the art of forging metal. So, as an armorer, let's see, blacksmiths may be hired to work under an armorer to increase the rate of production. Well, I wouldn't think. I mean, blacksmith would be good for forging metal that the armorer could then use. But I don't think that it would take too many brain cells for anybody to realize that you got to build a fire, you got to get it really hot, and then throw the metal in, and sooner or later you're going to get it hot enough and it'll melt. It doesn't require rocket science in order to figure that out.
My thought would be that a blacksmith is like good at like basic mundane stuff, but an armor is like a blacksmith that knows how to make armor
and weapons
and weapons, right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm a step above a blacksmith.
Essentially, that's what this is saying. I mean, you as an armor, as a specialist. So, like for instance, you have armorers and blacksmiths that you have hired as specialists back at Castle Braun. That armor, because he has a blacksmith and like an assistant armorer, can. So it says, yeah, they would be able to then put out 10 weapons, 6 shields, and 1 suit of armor, or 2 suits of armor per month. And they can maintain the equipment of up to 150 troops. So, per month. So, I mean, that's not a bad beginning.
Okay. Let's go to the broke down blacksmith place and melt some shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a bunch of copper arrowheads.
Yeah, that works.
So you guys leave the mall or the merchant district and make your way down, of course, through down Yeoman Street and back down Docker Street, and you make it to just a little ways past the sewer entrance that you used to enter the sewers. And you know that according to that map that you had, I can show you. That was
Oh,
customs map. So this map, you know that there was a blacksmith right here, right below the tavern. Little anvil there. And so according to this map, on the surface somewhere, there was a blacksmith shop. On the way there, let's see, there are 5 of you. I get a 6, I'll roll again. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Mavis. Mavis, you get pickpocketed and lose 4 gold pieces. Another one. Jackson, you get pickpocketed and lose 9 gold pieces.
That's like everything I have.
Oh my god.
And last, Peppermint gets pickpocketed and loses 5 gold pieces.
Okay.
That was literally almost all of Jackson's gold.
That's quite a chunk of peppermints, too. Oh well.
That's quite a chunk of peppermint. Poor Peppermint. I mean, not only does she have to deal with the idea of dancing and behaving lewdly, but she does it for a stack of coins about the size of a quarter.
Yeah.
So right now, Peppermint doesn't have any like actual gear because she's still like under the employ, right?
She does have some stuff. So she's got let me.
I got a shield, leather armor, and a sword.
Yeah.
That's it.
And she had some starting cash. Most of it was money that Dentry gave her.
Which was just stolen.
Well, 5 gold of it was stolen, yeah.
There's 9 gold pieces left. So, yeah. Okay.
We got more money than Jackson.
So you guys get to this old abandoned blacksmith shop, and it is in a area of the Docks District that even when the Docks District was functioning, this is one of the reasons why it was, the poorer area down and out is because it's very close to the tanneries. And if you know anything about how they make and tan leather, there's a reason why the term piss poor is a thing. And so what that thing is that in order to tan and boil leather, they stick it in vats of boiling urine. And piss poor, there were people that were so poor they would piss into a bucket and they would sell it to the tanneries so that they would have some money so that they could eat. That's where the term comes by. And if you were if you were even poorer than that, that means that you didn't have a pot to piss in to sell to the tanneries to make any money. So you were really down and out. And so, so yeah, this district wouldn't have been very pleasant. If you can imagine, they sent a boiling piss. That's what the entire area would smell like, along with the choking smoke from the blacksmith shop, and it's just a lovely area. And so you get to this old abandoned blacksmith shop, and Dentry is the armorer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dentry, make an intelligence ability check.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you show up at this old blacksmith shop. The front end of the building, like the ceiling looks like it's maybe going to cave in sometime in the near future. I mean, everything's sagged and warped. But the front end of the shop is kind of open, and there is a large wooden furnace here with a big leather bellows, and you guys get to work gathering wood. Most of the wood that you gather is from buildings that have fallen down over the years, and so you are able to get a fire going, but you're having a hard time getting the fire to stoke up because the leather bellows is damaged. It's got holes in it where the leather has kind of rotted through.
Right. And I didn't notice that before.
Why don't we just open up a portal to Castle Braun where we have an active blacksmith going?
Ooh.
And you just take care of your business, and then in a couple hours we'll open the portal and you can come right on back.
All right, that sounds great. I'll get a nice hot meal while I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that works too. And so yeah.
Skopti makes me a meal.
Yeah, Skopti, the kobold chef, makes you a nice meal. The restoration of Castle Braun by this point has kind of advanced a bit, and the walls are looking a bit better. The masons have gone through, and one wall, the southern wall, has been almost entirely repaired, and they are in the process of replacing the old iron portcullis that had rusted so bad that it had basically turned to dust. And so the blacksmiths kind of stop what they're doing. Blacksmiths and armorers are making this large iron portcullis, and they stop what they're doing and help you. And so so what are you doing with the blacks?
Well, first thing I'm going to do is be like, all right, need to get this hot enough. We need to start melting down some stuff. So I need you to get this thing roaring. And the first thing that I'm going to do is, once it's roaring, get peppermints melted right away.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, these
the
are...
first one on the list, yeah.
Yeah, you Tossie says, no, bronze is an alloy, I believe, of tin and copper. And so, I mean, it doesn't require, a... I mean, it of course needs to be hot, but it's not. It doesn't need to be as hot as like what they were already using it for, because they were smelting iron So I would imagine that if you're getting it up to the temperature to forge iron, it's probably already hot enough because
Oh yeah, good
iron
point.
is much hotter. So, yeah, you.
How are we gonna destroy the tan thing? Were we just gonna burn that too?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that.
Stylus.
Might as well.
Yeah, we get rid of all of it, and we don't have the evidence.
Yeah,
And while you're there, we're just gonna leave one person behind, really. But we ought to lay this big fancy whore rug out.
Yeah.
I've decided I
And you
don't
could
want to sell it. I
really
want to
put-
just keep it for my bedroom.
Well, I mean, we got to decorate the place, and God, man, what kind of castle doesn't have a nice, luscious whore rug in front of the fireplace?
Now that you're calling it the whore rug, I imagine it's like a hot pink shag. Oh my God, Cameron, you would love this. So there is this new set of commercials that are going on, and it's always on right around noontime, right? And it is for an old folks community, right? And I can't believe that they chose this as the name. The name of the community is The Shag.
What?
So the British term for sex is we're
Yeah,
gonna go
yeah.
yeah. So this old people's community is called the Shag, and their motto is that people say that life starts at 60. I say life doesn't start until shag.
Wow.
And every time I see that commercial, I fucking lose it. I'm like, yep. So you got this community where old people have upside down pineapples hanging from their door. They're just partners swapping. It's just a big old swinging retirement community. Oh, shit. Yeah.
They are kind of notorious for that.
Well,
It's like,
I mean, they got a
it's
lot of
a
time in their
problem.
hands, and there's only so many hobbies. So. And now with
They give
Viagra.
each other STDs though. It's a problem. But yeah. I guess they're laying it all out front at the shag.
Yeah,
Good for them.
they're just calling it what it is. Grandma and Grandpa are gonna go get laid with all the other old people. It's cool. So yeah, you toss all of it in. They basically pull out this large, heavy iron pot that you just toss it all in, and they stick it in the forge. And the armorer and the blacksmith ask you, would you like them to forge something with the bronze? Because I mean, the armorer could turn this into. There would be enough bronze here. The armorer could make like a bronze breastplate that would be plate armor. They could make well, yeah, there would be enough there to make like a bronze sword. A couple of daggers. Probably like 4 daggers.
I like the idea of daggers because I don't think swords would hold up as well in the kind of combat that we do, and bronze plate ain't gonna do it against the stuff that we fight. We need something magical for that.
True.
So I think daggers would be a nice touch, especially if that's the dagger that gets stabbed into the madam.
Okay. So.
Unless you guys have thoughts. I think daggers are just...
yeah, sounds fine to me.
So
Peppermint's. I'm thinking Peppermint's gonna get them anyway. Like Peppermint. We made these for you out of your nameplate.
Yeah. So they will. He tells you that come back in a week, and he'll have these daggers crafted for you.
Cool. I want to be like eating the last bit of Skopti's food when I walk back through the portal. Like, man, Skopti sure can cook. Oh, hey guys, how you been? What's going on?
So as Dentry comes,
We've been in this dank, abandoned place, not eating. That's how we've been.
Oh, right. Sorry. Did you want the last bite?
So, Dentry spends about half an hour there. Let's see. Boorman, Jackson, Mavis, and Peppermint all roll a wisdom ability check.
Hey, Boorman made it.
Yep.
So Jackson did not make it?
Nope. I have two stats above Petal.
Wow, Mavis and Peppermint both may have accidentally
I feel like this is fucked up because I've gotten 3 nat 20s in a row.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I mean, it's possible, but holy shit. So yeah, Mavis and
all on rolls where we wanted her to get low.
right, but Boorman, you see Dentry kind of step back through the mirror as he's licking his fingers, and you look at Dentry and you're like, he doesn't look so good. He's looking kind of pale. He looks a little thinner than you're used to. And this is the first time really that you've had a chance to really notice. He's looking a little sickly.
I'll point that out to Mavis. To be like, what's up with Dentry? You gonna do a colon check or something?
Something was cursed. I've been cursed.
Yeah, what can I detect? Anything?
Got that parapet stone.
Yeah, the periapt.
Yeah.
Yeah, periapt is healing. Let's try that. If it does anything.
So Dentry does have a periapt. Small gem of apparently inconsequential value that is basically floating around his head. But I mean, he looks like he's sick, so you could try a cure disease.
Yeah, I think I will do that.
Okay, so you cast cure disease on him, and nothing happens. I mean, at least, I mean, not immediately. You're not seeing, any immediate effects. So far, he doesn't. Dentry, you don't necessarily. You feel like maybe you're starting to catch a cold. You're not down and out. You're not at any kind of negative or anything. You're starting to feel like probably catching a cold. Yeah, probably not a big deal.
I haven't had a cold since I was 2.
Maybe try remove curse on him and see.
I could try that also. Yeah. Let's see if he's cursed. Might as well. I'll get my spell slot back in the morning.
Okay. So you throw a remove curse on him, and the periapt floating around his head falls to the ground.
Wow, there's something wrong with it.
Yep, we should just leave it there.
Sorry about your periapt.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Does he feel better now that it fell on the ground?
He's still sick. Do you have another?
I don't know then.
Do you have another cure disease?
Let me double check here.
We should have done the curse before the disease.
Well, we didn't think things through. But, it's someone else's spell slots, so let's use.
How many cursed items does that make for Dentry?
He's gotten quite a few. I mean, he's just had some bad luck.
Okay, a third level. So yeah, I have like one of each. That's it.
Okay.
So I have to wait till tomorrow to cure your disease. If I can.
It's fine.
He
You'll
caught,
be
Sorry.
fine.
I'll be
he
fine.
caught, yeah, he caught an STD off.
Hey,
He
Peppermint
caught some
feels
from
fine.
Peppermint. So yeah.
Peppermint feels fine. You heard it first. Peppermint feels fine.
And so, so you have destroyed effectively destroyed the contract and the plaques.
How does Peppermint feel?
She doesn't feel any different.
Okay, so nobody knows when they're free, I guess.
Right.
Well, I guess that'll make things easier at the brothel.
Right. Do we want to eradicate the tiefling and her stuff, or do we just kind of want to go
I
on
think
our way?
losing the contract is going to result in that without us doing anything.
Right. She's got
You look
gold
really
in there
scared when your
somewhere.
stuff was gone.
Yeah. There's some gold in there some fucking where. I just hadn't found where she's got it all stashed. It's what concerns me the most.
I mean, fair. She does have like a lot of earnings and a stark lack of gold.
Well, we
Feeling
could stay the rest of the week and see if she like mysteriously disappears or what happens.
all right, and then at the end of the week, when we're ready to go, we kill her.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. So if the devil don't kill her, we will.
So
'Cause, you know.
in the meantime, so you still have you promised Kabshiel that you would go back to St. Burton's Theological
yeah.
Academy, or you can wait it out in the brothel. It's up to you.
If we're going to participate, I think
Malachi
we
should
ought to,
probably stay out of that.
yeah, Malachi has no interest in helping an Archon fight, but he's like, if everybody does it, I'll go to defend Alora.
Well, and I mean, if
Mhm.
you go now, I mean that would interrupt your magical research and Alora's book reading.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing I think
Everyone is better?
Boorman would want to go to the library and talk to the ghosts and see if they know how to get in the fucking tower.
You can do that too.
Yeah, but I mean,
That sounds like a good plan.
yeah, going and I mean, ooh, you know, super powerful creatures. I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do to help that. Some of us are gonna die. You let it go. I don't know, but if Mavis wants to go do that fight, well, we're team players.
I'm not looking to end my life prematurely, so unless everyone's gung ho about it, I'll go to the library with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we want to do then. We want to go to the library and.
Okay. Give me one moment. Oops. I will be right back.
I don't know how to get in this place, but these ghosts might.
I'll have something cool to say. I bet you anything. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Oh, to the ghost or when we go through the door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the ghost.
I mean, if the ghosts don't know, we can try presenting the scepter and the rod to the door in some kind of way. Maybe they combine in a key. Maybe we're missing a key component. Haha.
Yeah, I have no idea. How would you open a door with a hook and a loop? I thought it'd be like a door where like those shades were on it or something.
That's what I thought too. But there was a lot of weird languages and shit I couldn't read.
Oh yeah. Okay, we'll bring the helm, and we'll be able to read the door, and we'll talk to the ghost, and it'll be good. I had pretty much forgotten about the library since last week.
And all the evidence of our escapade stealing from the lady is all left back in Castle Braun now.
I think we got away with it.
I think so too. I, I'm really wondering how it plays out because I'm sure people are going to want to, they're going to get some high end magic motherfuckers to go look at my art. Not knowing what it is might freak them out, like, ooh, this is beyond my skill level.
Maybe. It's hard to know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was all meant to be a distraction so I could get the hell out of there with her stuff. And
I think it confused them if nothing else, which is good.
yeah. Well, we were there.
Well, it confused us, and we know you. So.
Yeah. You're like, what a fire in your office. Yeah. If she'd have let us investigate it, we'll take all our minions in a closed room for interrogation and kill them one at a time. Yeah.
Wow.
Why?
That was the plan?
Well, that's.
I thought you were going to just blame it on somebody you didn't like.
Well, I was thinking if we kill all her, I was thinking of a way to thin her out. Was what I wanted. But when I offered to do the investigation, I was like, yeah, we can go interrogate all of her employees, and when you interrogate, you don't do it in front of everybody. You take people to a private, location. I don't know. She might have ended up looking over our shoulder during that too. She might be so tough that she'd have wiped the floor with us, though. I don't know. Yeah, if somebody makes you mad, in whatever you're doing, you can always go like, "Hey, were you born on a freeway?" Because that's where most accidents happen.
I dig it.
Thank goodness it's Friday, right? TGIF,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Think of this one. So happy it's Thursday.
Yeah.
It. Yes. I don't have one for Saturday. I've been thinking and almost every word that I would like to use has has letters that are hard to tie in, you know?
Well, TGIF is like weird anyway.
Yeah,
It's
it
like a
is
weird combination of letters.
weird.
I don't
But
even know how that caught on, honestly.
the restaurant, maybe.
I don't know. Did the restaurant come first or the phrase? I'm not totally sure.
I don't know. That would require research. And I really don't want that shit associated with my search engines because they suggest shit already to me, Fucking, did you know that there's a TGIF 4.2 miles from you? As I'm driving down there, it's all AI. AI snooping for advertising.
The first physical evidence of TGIF was in 1941. It was in Ohio, an Ohio local newspaper.
Oh,
That's really random.
all right then. I guess it had to come before the restaurant.
It seems like that was probably after everybody won like a 40-hour work week from striking. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because before
Maybe
that, I guess
that's
we just, worked all the time.
maybe they make them wear all that flair because they want you to have like your little union buttons and shit. You know.
Maybe.
I had a friend who was a roommate that worked there, and he had these suspenders that were covered with buttons, and I love to sneak in appropriate buttons on his stuff because they had rules. You can't have sex or nothing like that. And oh man, I'd go down to the little Spencer's Gifts. Always has these little buttons for sale next to the cash register. They always like what, $2 or $3 at the most, you know. So you just get them, and then when your buddy is not wearing his suspenders, you just add the button. Nobody looks at that shit. You just put the suspenders on and you go through the grind of fucking working in a restaurant. You can also put random stickers on people's car. When my ex-wife and I got a divorce, I put a "keep on fucking that chicken" sticker on her car, and she found it, and she's like, "Did you put a chicken fucker sticker on my car?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't do that because I put a keep on fucking that chicken. I didn't put a chicken fucker." So I didn't lie. She's like, I've been driving around for God knows how long, and I'm thinking in the back of my head for about a month and a half.
That's
Yeah,
not
that's a
that
true
bad,
story.
man. It could have been
Yeah.
a GPS device or a bomb or something. It was just
Oh
chicken.
yeah.
That's fun. That's good fun.
Okay, so by this point, Boorman's Pass Undead would have worn off. These two are not there. And so Boorman leads you guys to the University District and directly to the Arcane Library. And make you guys a little bit bigger. And so, oops, I went too far. There it is. And so when you get here, of course, there is this entrance gate, and it's kind of like it's down, and there's a ramp, and you can see that there are these chains that can pull it up to cover up this large door, and this door is 20 feet tall by 25 feet wide, and can be fully retracted up into the wall of the second floor above it. And I need another map. It is right here. Nope, right here. There we go. And so the gate is open, and you guys step inside. You see that there are staircases on these alternating corners, and then there's a long hallway, and you see this ghostly figure moving about, tending to the library books. And as you guys enter, you are talking and chatting amongst one another, and as you enter the library, you see the ghost turn and look to you guys with this scowl on her face, and she goes, "Shh." Everybody, Boorman already failed his check, so Dentry, Jackson, Mavis, and Peppermint can make a Wisdom ability check. Wait.
Jackson made it.
Okay.
Peppermint's wisdom is 17, so I don't know if that.
So that would be a success. You have to hit or below.
Damn. Peppermint's wise.
I know, it's super weird.
I know. And those were random. And what about Mavis?
I did not make it.
So Peppermint.
Because I also got a 17. So.
And then did Dentry and Jackson make it?
Jackson made it. Dentry did not.
So Jackson and Peppermint, you come in, and Jackson's first words that he, I don't know if Jackson's going to whisper this or not, but Jackson looks around and says, all of these books are about the dead. And Peppermint kind of whispers, and she says, this is the necromantic section.
Jackson wouldn't be able to do that because he's illiterate.
Yeah, but he knows what imagery looks like. And there's a lot of the spines of these books look like they are either made of bone or mimicking bone. And there's a lot of little skulls and, motifs of the dead.
Jackson's over here to Malachi, yo, bro, calm down. Don't steal every book.
I'm under the impression you can't steal. This place is very magical. It'll teleport you about.
And so, yeah, you see this ghost, and she is tending to the books, making sure that books and scrolls are all in their proper location.
Cool.
And you see that there are these study tables that are equipped with small oil lamps, and there are occasionally these oil lamps that are on the walls. And these bookshelves, they go from floor to the 10-foot ceiling, and there is these two ladders on brass rails that can be maneuvered so that you can reach books on the higher shelf.
Boorman will whisper to Lucinda if she knows where we can put the rod and the scepter.
She looks at you, and she kind of cocks her head, and she goes, I don't know anything about a rod and a scepter. That's certainly not in the necromantic section.
Well, then maybe we should... do you guys want to talk to librarians, or do you want to go look at the door to the tower?
I think we should go look at the door and read it.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna cut all the way through the library and up into... Boorman knows the way. He knows how to get to the door.
Yes, he does. And so...
He's dead and in the necromantic section.
Well, actually, though, before we do that, and I believe Boorman already failed this check. There's another ghost here tending to the library books. Dentry, Jackson, Mavis, and Peppermint can make another Wisdom ability check.
Right, both my people made it.
And what about Dentry and Jackson?
Nope.
So glancing at these books as Mavis and Peppermint are looking at them, and they note that this central hallway is all witchcraft books.
Wow. Too bad Aurora and Alka stayed home.
We'll have to give them some time here before we leave this place.
Yeah, for sure.
And then finally moving through here, I can't believe I didn't. Oh, I just didn't click her check. There's a ghost in this section, and again, Dentry, Jackson, Mavis, and Peppermint make another wisdom ability check.
Okay, made it.
So this section, all of the books in this section are arcane, but they are all specifically illusion. There's a number of theories, books on theory, spell books, scrolls, etc., all throughout here. And there's, of course, another ghost that is tending to that section. But Boorman leads you to the grand vestibule. Oh, gotta do that. Oops, didn't mean to grab her. And so, this section, you see that there are doorways to 3 rooms in here. There is this large gate. There's this gate. It's a large door. Large double doors, and Boorman would probably tell you guys that it's a little weird because these doors are clearly made from wood that has been sourced from the Sylvanas forest, which, you know, the elves generally are kind of pissed off about that sort of. I mean, there was an entire, almost a war fought over logging of the Sylvanas forest, so that's a little weird. And of course, he has told you that when he tried to pick the lock, he was teleported. And you see that there are runes that look like they are written in Sylvan, which is the Elvish language, written on the door.
Yeah, I want to use the Helm of Read languages to see what it says.
Okay. So, Make a... Well, the Helm of Read languages... Well, let me double check something. Helm of Read languages. Or Helm of No languages? Oh, so it's a Helm of Reading Languages and Magic. So, magical writing is comprehensible, and you recognize that this is a wizard lock. So the door is under the effects of a wizard lock spell, which means... Look up wizard lock. Not something that's commonly used by characters. So it magically locks a door gate, similar portal, or any item that has a lock. The magical lock is permanent, but may be bypassed as follows. The caster, of course, can pass freely. A knock spell would allow passage. Any magic-using character who is at least 3 levels higher than the caster of the wizard lock may pass through unimpeded. Now, I mean, this is leading into Tassadantalis's tower, so I doubt that, I mean, even if you had a dedicated magic user, they probably wouldn't be 3 levels higher than Tassadantalis. And certainly Malachi is not. Bypassing the wizard lock does not destroy it. So they can, you know, anybody who can bypass that lock isn't removing it. They're just able to open the door. So it is wizard locked. And of course, you already know that it is trapped.
What happens if we present the rod and the scepter out to it?
You can certainly try.
Yeah. It's either that or we start exploring these other rooms, but
Sure, give it a shot.
yeah. That's what I'm gonna try.
Okay, so Boorman touches the door. Oh shit. Boorman touches the door with the wizard or with the rod and the scepter and disappears. There's a flash and he disappears. Hold on.
Oh, shit.
I will show Boorman where he is. Da, 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 da. Oh, there it is. Come on now. You can do it. There it is. Okay. That. And in a flash, Boorman, you are you appear in this area, and there are a number of people. There's a ship docked here. You can smell the salt in the air from the sea. You appear to be on Smuggler's Cove, in what is known as Pilotsville, which is the small village that the pirates have set up on the northern point or northeastern point of Smuggler's Cove.
And there's nobody out?
Oh, there's a number of people out, and they, this particular spot that you popped in front of, what is it? It is 9. Oop, too far. So this building that you popped in front of is actually an armory and a guardhouse. Up here. Damn it. There we go. Up here, this is, you see a number of pirates hanging out around this area. You see that a number of them are drunk. And you can see that there are, again, a number of ladies of questionable moral value hanging all over these pirates. And this building here, you see that it appears to be some kind of inn. Again, you can see that there are a number of pirates out, sitting out, drinking and whatnot. You can also see that there are a couple of bonfires up here, and you can smell on the air that they are cooking something.
I want to go invisible.
Okay. So you are obviously this flash drew the attention of a couple of these people, and you look around, they all are kind of shocked looking at you, and you go voom, and disappear.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go invisible and head to the boat.
Okay. So,
Wow.
so this isn't just a boat. This is a small schooner, sailing vessel, a sloop, as it were.
Right.
And I mean, technically, a sloop could be operated by a single person. But this dock looks like it's fairly, either fairly new or fairly well maintained construction, which is kind of not what you expected for a bunch of pirates. Up on now down here, right here, you can, now that you're up on the dock, you can see that there is a wide set of stairs, and these stairs are they start out like very very good construction. They look almost like stairs that would go up to a temple, and then they lead up to a trail that meanders its way up this large mountain that dominates the middle of this island, and you can see that there's this narrow path that goes all the way, zigzags around the mountain, and goes up to the top where there is a fortress that has been constructed. And before we close, I will show you what that looks like. Let's see here. Here we go. Whoops. I almost fucked that up. There we go. I'll show you the island overall.
I have a reasonable idea on which direction the port city's from, right?
Yes, you would know that it would be to the east of you.
Okay.
Um,
So all I got to do is get this boat to going and head it east. No big deal.
yeah, theoretically that should work. So this.
Well, I've got a fan.
Oh, that's true. So this is basically Smuggler's Cove. You are down here. Whoops. Be a little bit more careful about that. And up here in the middle of these mountains is this fortress. Now, one thing, if you think back, you guys visited the Singing Mango and Pig Tavern in the Merchant District. And the owner, Captain Thaddeus, he used to be the Pirate King of Smuggler's Cove, and he was deposed. And he had made a comment that if you guys were to, maybe if you were to go over here and retake the castle up at the top, the fortress, known as Fort Weimar, he would be in your debt if you could put him back on his pirate throne. And he's like, just in passing, he's like, if you decide to do that, let me know. And so you can see where this fortress is. And it has a very clear view of the west and a very narrow view back towards the east, towards the Imperial Port and the harbor.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to try to do is just steal this boat and go. Is going to be my general game plan.
Okay.
I figure, God, how hard can it be? I cut the chain or let go of the anchor and cut the ropes and drop the bow, drop the sails, and then use the magic fan and go.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes
Shouldn't
sense.
be hard at all.
Okay. So, back in the grand vestibule, Peppermint, Mavis, Gentry, and Jackson, you just see this bright blue flash, and he disappears with the rod and scepter. I mean, And there are these three rooms. And
Peppermint says, "Does stuff like this happen often?"
Unfortunately, yes. This is a Tuesday for us.
I guess we ought to look around for him.
Okay.
I pick this room first, if I can.
Okay. So this room. Oh, wait. There we go. This room is fairly interesting. So you step into this room, and it appears to be like a lecture hall. Um, there it is. Work with me here. There we go. So yeah, it's a lecture hall. There's dark stained. There is a dark stained desks and tables all through. There's like these three desks, and then there is a dark stained table and chair at the front kind of the hall, and there are a number of shelves all around here that are filled with what Mavis would recognize. She's seen, she's watched Malachi do stuff. There are material spell components sitting in jars, and there's a lot of different books.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the big book on the desk in case it's relevant.
Okay. So the big book on the desk is. It is a lecture. It is the teacher's book, and it is the theory of spell creation. But you do find, sitting next to the book, you find a small brooch. And I can tell you exactly what that looks like. And after this, we'll go ahead and break for the day. But let's brooch. Clasp of silver or gold. There's no jewels on it, so it's gold. And it looks like a little shield.
Cool.
And if you would like, you can make a intelligence ability check to see if you know what this is.
Go.
Actually.
Oh, I'm rolling the wrong one. Hold on. There we go. Come on.
Oh, shit. Well,
I think it's messed up.
Yeah, I already decided I'm just going to give it to you. It is a brooch of shielding.
Oh, cool.
Give me just a second. And come on, roll 20. Take it. Take it. There we go. So this is what a brooch of shielding can do.
Wow. That's kind of cool. I'm going to give it Peppermint, though. This is way lower level.
Sure.
So magic missile.
For up to 101 points of damage, she's basically immune from magic missiles.
Got it written down.
All right, let's go ahead and divvy up some XP. You guys did better than you might have expected, considering there wasn't a lot of combat. But there was some really, really rich roleplay. So each of you, let's see, there are 7 of you now. Everybody gets 564 XP. All right. I don't know if that was enough to kick anybody over to level. I know that one of Brian's characters was close.
I'm not gonna level, but so, add it up.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'm on.
So Brian, you're muted. Did anybody level up on your group?
Nope, nobody muted. No, nobody muted. Nobody leveled.
Okay. Well, we will pick this up next week at 12 o'clock. And
Thank
just
you.
reminder for Cameron and Brian, the Wednesday and Friday games will be starting an hour earlier. And
Ready?
we'll be sticking to that from here out. So we'll be starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So. All right. I will see you guys. I'm sorry, what was that?
Thank you.
What was that, Brian?
I was saying thank you.
Oh, no problem. Okay, I will see you guys next week.
Thanks. Have a great night.
You too. Have a good one, guys.